Hey there, everybody. This is Geoff from the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast, and you're listening to the first edition of Let's Get Personal. Ooh.
We're here in my personal abode. It doesn't get more personal than this, I guess. And you can't even tell if I'm wearing pants. So that's nice.
Number 10.
My number 10 is a newcomer to my list, and I mean that he's not there now. He was there for a little bit. And even in the beginning of TNA days, their Victory Road pay-per-view is actually in the 30-man gauntlet there. But he came back, and that's what really put him on the map for me. He found his gimmick. He found who he was, and I really connected with it. He did a promo intro for our last podcast. Just really cool dude. Always been very kind. Matt Sidell is my number 10. Could have been much higher for sure, but I dig him. I dig Matt Sidell.
Number 9.
My number 9 is Alex Shelley. Now, Alex Shelley, in the history of Impact TNA, is more known for Motor City Machine Guns. But there was always something about Shelley, and he came around the same time. He was actually in NWA TNA with the Baby Bear, horrible gimmick. But when he was doing the Paparazzi Productions, showcasing, and it was Kevin Nash too, helping getting it over, but showcasing the personalities of these X Division wrestlers, just not being fast wrestling, black trunk wearing cruiserweights, which I guess it's a lot of the shows are like that now, but they were trying to instill personality and kind of get rid of that juju that they had, and so Paparazzi Productions alone gets him on the list. But then on top of that, when he would come, he would always instill like a little bit of catch-shoot wrestling, the English style, which I always dig, because it broke up the monotony of dives and flips. And even back then, even though it was cool to see, it was cool for someone to kind of slow it down and introduce their style as well. So.
Number 8.
Next up for me is Double A Austin Aries, and you can say what you will, especially how he exited last time. But, I remember watching Austin Aries and ROH and the Paparazzi Production things when he became Austin Star. And I always liked him, always knew he had a little bit of something extra. And, seeing him on the indie scene after his ROH run, like that little gap there, where he was talking about retirement and stuff, from there to see him get that opportunity, randomly come up with TNA, and then to take that opportunity and run with it all the way to the World Championship. It's just it was an awesome ride. It's an awesome run. I'll forever like Austin Aries.
Number 7.
Next for me is the third X Division champion. You know that. He is the NOG of the X Division. And even before that, I'm a Northeastern guy, so I used to stay up past Saturday Night Live when I wasn't supposed to, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning on some small-ass TV in my room and watch ECW. And I remember seeing him as the new effing show and, him taking that and then to the WWF. And, he kind of, unfortunately, didn't get what he rightfully deserved in my eyes there. And then seeing him, tune in there and see the first NWA TNA show, and he's on it, and in the first match, and he's wrestling with two other guys who I don't know, but obviously will soon become familiar with. It felt right, and he kind of put that division to me on the map. Yeah, AJ was, it's the house that AJ built, but Jerry Lynn surely was the foundation.
Number 6.
All right, so this one, if you know, if you watch the podcast or listen to the podcast, you'll know I'm a huge fan. This is who I only wanted to see at TNA No Place Like Home, because it's been way too long for him to be in TNA or to not be in TNA. And it's Amazing Red. I love Amazing Red. I know I preached gimmick before anything else. You know, obviously I want him to wrestle, the wrestler to be able to wrestle and go, but I'm huge on character, and Amazing Red is the exception to that rule. He's just him. He's just an awesomely talented X Division wrestler. They're just wrestler. He's a legend.
Number 5.
Next up is one of my homies there, man. I love LAX. Anything to do with LAX. I love Homicide, and he's my number 5. Just something about Homicide that just felt real, and I'm sure that's not a coincidence of his character to who he is in real life. But he just always entertained, always went out there and what is the term? Adapted to the times and to the type of wrestling that was going on. So I got nothing but love for the 187.
Fortune 4.
Next is these next 4, these top 4 were hard to put in any kind of particular order. But number 4 for me is Loki. You could scramble any of these next 4 up, and they are the X Division to me. But I put Loki here just because of his in and out of Impact Wrestling. He was there, he wasn't, he was there, he wasn't, he was there, he wasn't, and that's just who he is, I guess. But inside those ropes, he's the man, and Loki always brought that sense of realism to a time where it wasn't, it was the joke. And I'll be honest with that. Sometimes it was hard to be a wrestling fan. Oh, that's that fake thing. Well, yeah, okay. Well, we're all in on it. And you wouldn't lie and say he was real, but he gave it that sense of like, okay, these are still tough mother, And I dig Loki.
Number 3.
Oh, this one hurts me. But I put Christopher Daniels next, the Fallen Angel. I'd be lying to you, and I was a WCW guy. I would be lying to you if I remember him from any of those little stints there that people mention. I didn't. I didn't know his work prior, and when he came in with Triple X, Low-Key being one of them, Elix Skipper, who I didn't have enough room to put on here. It was just the combination helped that packaging of them, but just the Fallen Angel gimmick, just his ability to go in there and you knew whatever match he was on or whatever a spot on the card, it was going to be a banger. And Christopher Daniels, Ultimate Professional, would love to see him back. I know he's getting up there, but he's doing his thing elsewhere, and got nothing but love for Christopher Daniels.
Number 2.
Now, this is my top 2. It's probably everyone's top 2 or some variation of the top 4 I had, and maybe not. It depends, I guess, when you started watching Impact or TNA or NWA TNA. But mine's Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe... Samoa Joe to me is everything the X Division was supposed to be. Not about weight limits, it's about no limits. And he came in with that 19-month winning streak, and he just, once again, it's kind of the same with Low-Key, where in a time where wrestling felt exposed, these dudes came in and worked their asses off to make you believe. And that's what's cool about Samoa Joe, is might be a nice dude outside of this or whatever, but in that squared circle, not only can he go, but while going, he takes you out of your life, takes you out of reality. So it's pretty cool. I guess that's the best compliment I could give Samoa Joe. But I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he gets to do it and be recognized on the biggest stage, quote unquote. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't want Samoa Joe back at some point, even just a on-air hello.
And now, number one.
The phenomenal one, right? Yeah, that's where it has to end and where it needs to go. I mean, you can have a different person as your number one, but I just think that maybe AJ Styles should be it. Not only was he the first champion, he put this company on his back, and from my point of view, put it on the map, kept it on the map. And even when all these veterans were coming in from the day one to, when he left, he still found a way to, title or no title, shine. He's, the Fosbury Fop. I remember the first time seeing that, just this first time seeing Spiral Tap. AJ is the man. He is the man. Built the division. Built TNA. So AJ Styles is my number one. Tell me if you agree. Tell me if you don't agree. This was fun. It was fun talking to you guys one-on-one. No, it's not really one-on-one. But doing this, and I can't wait for my next time to get personal with you guys. Thank you for listening. To find me at Ready to Believe You on Twitter, or I'm halftime running the TNAIW podcast Twitter as well. So hit me up there. Disagree with me. Agree with me. Excited to hear your feedback. Bye, guys.